Fortnite Season 2 is almost here, and it looks absolutely insane. Alternate realities, new bosses, and an event that might just flip Fortnite upside down. Few weeks ago, we had the event where the visitor rocket arrived on the island. And dude did not just fly in from out of nowhere, he came straight from the Chapter 1 Season 4 OG mode. But get this, he is not exactly the same visitor who got swallowed by the Chrome. He is actually from an alternate reality. And he came here for one specific reason, the Dark Voyager. We can finally say straight up that the Fortnite storyline is officially entering Phase 2. Wanna know why the visitor has been chasing Voyager across different dimensions? Or who our cube-headed buddy is actually working for? Believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg, but let us take it from the top. You might not have noticed, but this season turned out to be the most lore-heavy one we have had in the last 2, maybe even 3 chapters. When was the last time we got voice lines?
She's stubbornly pursuing the Dark Voyager.
And more than 3 mini-events in a single season. And they all tie directly back to that original storyline created by Donald Mustard. The Visitor, the Rocket, the 0 Point, and some sketchy suits. Basically, we are swimming in lore and new season info. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and plug my creator code in the item shop if you want to support the channel. In the latest update, a rocket launch pad popped up right near the canyon. It is pretty hard to miss, and it showed up without any countdown timers or heads up whatsoever. So a massive shout out to our beloved Epics for throwing us that curveball. Though, if you are subscribed to my second channel, you are totally ready for it, since it has everything a Fortnite player needs, including the full event recording. Anyway, even if you have already seen the event, you need to watch it again closely, because this is far from your run-of-the-mill event. I do not know about you guys, but this event gave me some massive Chapter 1 Season 4 flashbacks. And honestly, it is super poetic, because that original visitor launch from the island is what kickstarted the storyline that had millions of people hooked for at least 3 chapters. But a few years after our favorite creative director Donald Mustard left, the Fortnite lore honestly started falling off hard. And just when it seemed like there was zero hope for a comeback of the original engaging storyline, the visitor rocket suddenly touches down on the island out of left field. And it did not just happen off screen. It was a full-blown mini-event, symbolically mirroring the original rocket launch. Why am I pushing this whole symbolism thing so hard? Because it would have been a cakewalk for Epic to just spawn another meteor on the map, or a pre-built visitor rocket sitting on a pad. Instead, they actually put in the elbow grease and recreated the Season 4 rocket event almost play for play, just with a landing instead of a launch. The fact that the driving force behind the story, both back then and right now, is the very first member of the mysterious group known as the Seven, is a massive hint that the OG storyline has not just returned, it has evolved into a new phase. What is also interesting is that the visitor flew through a red rift that opened up in the sky a couple of weeks ago. The kicker here is that this is the exact same rift that appeared after the rocket launch in the OG Season 4. Turns out, this alien has zero connection to the original Chapter 1 reality. He came from a parallel dimension and a completely different timeline. So, this is not the guy we used to know. It is an alternate version of him. So drop an F in the comments for our OG old-timer who started this whole mess, because his spot just got taken by a doppelganger from another world. So it turns out that when he launched the rocket in Fortnite OG Season 4, dude deliberately took off to hunt down the Dark Voyager. According to him, he has been hunting the Cubehead for a long time now, and along the way, he has visited dozens of dimensions that Voyager turned into absolute wastelands. And now, finally, this wild goose chase has brought them both to our island. By the way, I wonder if the skins for the Visitor and the rest of the 7 will hit the item shop? Well, just to be ready for when they drop, make sure you have got my creator code locked in your shop. Anyway, right after landing, the Visitor was immediately greeted by our squad, the Order, Jones, and Hope. But even though the first contact was pretty chill, a conflict of interest quickly flared up between the teammates. From the new voice lines, it is clear that Order wants to attack the Voyager right now, while the Visitor, who has already seen what the cube head is capable of, says that is a terrible idea. He even compared the Order to her sister, the Imagined, who sacrificed herself battling Gino. Looks like those words really struck a nerve with the Order, because after that convo, she went off to dig up dirt on the Dark Voyager solo. Speaking of the Visitor, this dude does not just talk.
She's stubbornly pursuing the Dark Voyager. Alone. In my reality, her sister was the impetuous one.
I can hear you, Viz.
Which is more than we can say about our old bro, but he is out here barking orders at everyone. He totally put Hope in her place, telling her she has zero clue about what is actually going on. Maybe in his reality, he was not just a member, but the actual leader of the Seven. And since we are on the topic of voices, they got Ben Starr to voice the Visitor. But what is way more important is that this new Visitor knows a whole lot more than anyone else, and he is not shy about rubbing it in. For example, he literally chews out the Order, and the rest of the Seven for leaving the 0 point unguarded after taking down the Imagined Order. And if you think about it, he is dead right. That exact decision is what led the Nothing to discover the 0 point and kick off its invasion, meaning all the chaos we have been cleaning up for the last few chapters is basically the fallout from just one single mistake by the Seven. Right out of the gate, the Visitor got straight to business. And honestly, the funniest part is that he does not sugarcoat a single thing. He straight up calls everyone fools for thinking it was a good idea to just leave the 0 point unattended. And he is right. He did not just bring a rocket with him either. Somehow, he found Amy and shoved her right into his ship's onboard computer. Though, to be real with you, it is probably not our Amy. Since the Visitor is from an alternate reality, Amy probably is too. So for now, it is a sick cameo, but nothing more. From what I am gathering, Order, Jones, and Hope are sitting tight, waiting for someone else to answer their SOS. Meanwhile, Order went totally off the grid to dig up some dirt on the Voyager. And honestly, it paid off big time. She managed to intercept a seriously juicy message. Turns out, the Voyager has someone covering his back, and Cubehead promised this boss that he would not drop the ball. What exactly is he not dropping the ball on? That is the million-dollar question right now. But the sheer fact that the Voyager answers to someone else changes the whole ballgame. It means he is not the big bad, just a henchman. And whoever is calling the shots could be way more dangerous. While we are racking our brains trying to figure out who is pulling the strings, the Voyager is not just sitting on his hands. He clearly does not have time to worry about the Visitor right now, because he is about to secure the 4th 0 point shard. With 4 shards, he will have enough juice to power up the 0 point core. When that happens, reality rifts are going to tear open all over the island, which is exactly how the Voyager plans to get his hands on the remaining fragments. The crazy part is that the clues for this plan have been staring us in the face since the very start of the season. Remember that Voyager loading screen? Back then, we were scratching our heads, wondering what those locations were and why Cubehead was watching them like a hawk. Well, it looks like that map was literally marking the 0 gates, where the rest of the 0 point shards are hiding. Sure, the locations do not line up absolutely perfectly, but I would bet my bottom V-Bucks epic planned it exactly like this. Based on what we know, all of this is laying the groundwork for a massive mini live event at the end of the season. Think back to Chapter 2 Season 5, when Jonesy went crazy with the portals and dragged every hunter he could find onto the island, which basically sent the 0 point into a total meltdown. We might be looking at a similar portal situation to transition us into Season 2. Except this time, Jonesy is not the one running the show. It is the Dark Voyager taking orders from his mystery boss. At the same time, Fortnite just dropped the very first teaser for Season 2 online. It showed off a winter biome with a 0 point shard floating in the air, and Order reaching out to it. But the real kicker here is that this is not just some random snowy area, it is the actual Ice King Castle. We do not know yet if this castle is parked on the Ice Moon or chilling in a totally different reality. We will find out super soon when Season 2 drops, since the 0 gate on the north side of the island is going to lead straight to it. It is wild because they actually teased that the Ice King had a 0 point shard a while ago. During the teaser for the Ice Storm event back in the OG season, if you squinted real hard, you could spot a blurry, pulsing 0 point shard at the bottom. From now on, we gotta analyze every single short Fortnite posts like we are the FBI. I am guessing that when the new season launches, these portals are going to bring us at least 3 brand new locations: up north, out west, and down southeast. That means the north is getting the Ice King Castle, which is giving serious Polar Peak vibes from Chapter 1. It might even be a modernized version of it. And it is totally possible that each of these new spots will have a brand new boss guarding a 0-point shard. A couple of months ago, leaks actually surfaced saying the Ice King would be a boss we could morph into. Now, all the puzzle pieces are finally snapping together. That just leaves the mystery of the Voyager. Who exactly is the head honcho of a guy flying around in a last reality ship with a cube on his head? I narrowed it down to 3 top suspects. Suspect number 1, and the most obvious pick, is the Nothing. If Cubehead is working for the glory of the last reality, then his boss has to be the leader of that whole cosmic gang. Makes sense. But let us be real, that would be way too predictable and honestly a little boring, so I doubt it goes down like that. Suspect number 2 is a total curveball. Remember, the Cube Queen and the Origin are not just enemies, they have serious history. The Origin is not just a member of the Seven, he is the former Cube King. What if, theoretically, after the Seven fell apart, the last reality fixed the Origin up? Epic actually has concept art of the Origin rocking his Cube King look, and this would be the perfect time to drop it in-game. Plus, imagine the drama. Order and the Visitor run into their old buddy, and suddenly realize he is the mastermind behind the whole thing. Suspect number 3. What if the Dark Voyager has been sabotaging the last reality this entire time, and is actually working for the one guy who knows literally everything about the 0-point? I am talking about Gino. Think about it. How else does the Voyager know so much about how the 0-point works, how to put it back together, and how to harness its power? Even the Cube Queen and the Herald, who were direct messengers of the Nothing, did not have that kind of inside info. They just smashed through everything like a wrecking ball. But the Voyager operates completely differently, like someone gave him a masterclass. Let me remind you, the Voyager has traveled through thousands of realities, and Gino, as we know from the comic books, never actually died. He got atomized and basically started putting himself back together immediately. So, it is entirely possible that the guy everyone wrote off as dead is very much alive and pulling the strings. Only time will tell which of these theories hits the bullseye. But one thing is for sure, we have a ton of hype content coming our way, because the original storyline and that classic Fortnite energy are finally back. I am betting we get more Season 2 teasers any day now, showing off new locations, new items, or maybe even the Battle Pass. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop into the loop so you do not miss a thing. Honestly, trying to piece together the Season 2 lore is not totally impossible anymore, and based on how things are heating up, I already have a few more theories brewing up next. In any case, we can't stop the Voyager right now. I'm not the only one thinking this. Hope and Jones agree. They are saying they aren't ready to rush into a fight just yet. Either the world-saving team is totally burnt out after the battle with Dr. Doom, or the Voyager is way more dangerous than any of us realize. However, loopers still have an ace up their sleeve, or rather, 4 of them. One, of course, is subscribing to my second channel to stay updated on all the latest events. That way, you will be ready to battle Cubehead, and you can find the link in the description. So, the Dark Voyager is restoring the 0-point. But why? Sure, it is the heart of the multiverse, infinite energy, the nexus of all realities, and all that. It is logical that any villain would want a toy like that. However, the more I watch the Voyager, the more I realize he doesn't act like a typical invader. Order explicitly stated that Cubehead is a riddle. His motives are unclear, and his actions are illogical. Now, think back to the Cube Queen. Her plan was plain as day: destroy the island and steal the 0-point. But the Dark Voyager is much more complex. He seems more like a scientist observing test subjects and drawing conclusions. Here is my main theory. Yes, he is 100% from the last reality, but that doesn't mean he is working in their best interests. As I understand it, the last reality isn't a unified army with a clear chain of command. It is more like a collection of powerful entities, each looking out for themselves. So it is quite possible the Dark Voyager isn't a pawn like we initially thought, but an independent player. He is someone using the last reality for his own goals. He isn't restoring the 0-point to hand it over to someone else. He needs it for himself. For something we can't even guess yet. Maybe he wants to rewrite reality, create a new one, or bring back something he lost a long time ago? There are tons of possibilities, so drop your theories in the comments. This uncertainty is exactly what makes the Dark Voyager such an interesting antagonist. Judging by the speed at which he is collecting fragments, we won't be waiting long for answers. However, there likely won't be a grandiose finale with a massive live event. Data miners haven't found any files pointing to a big event at the end of this season, so here is my prediction. Cubehead will succeed in reassembling the 0 point. He will even activate it. Everything will go according to plan, but only up to a certain point. I am almost certain something will go wrong. Come on, this is Fortnite. Can you recall a single plan where we didn't have to deal with the messy consequences afterward? Neither can I. Maybe the 7 will intervene, maybe the 0 point will spring a surprise, maybe the Dark Voyager won't be able to handle the energy, or maybe the last reality flagship will appear in the sky and say, "Thanks for the work, bro, now move over." Basically, there are plenty of scenarios, but we're finally getting close to the truth. The final update is here, our last run before Season 2, and it promises to be huge for the lore. This is the patch where the 7 are supposed to return. Just imagine, seeing these legends again for the first time since Chapter 3.